and we are hoping that this game will come out somewhere in April. I think this will be the first game to come on both Android and uh, iOS at the same time. That's the target that we have. Let's see if we are able to achieve that. And this game also taught us a lot of skills, right? This game actually changed the perspective of our perspective to look at gaming, right? So this game is already live in Australia at the moment, right? And why? Why did we do that? So we figured that game development has to be a very iterative process. Touch squash, we completed the entire game we launched. Badminton, completed the entire game and launched. Tennis, completed the entire game and launched. Every game, like dance party is also similar. Dance party is not that similar, but yeah. Bowling Central is an incomplete game. Dead Among Us, incomplete game we launched in Australia. And what did we do? We put crazy amount of analytics on that, right? People give you 5 stars, for example. Hey, this is a great game. What do you learn from that? Do you know how much that person played that game, for example? Did he put 1 hour, he liked it and he put the review and that's about it, he left the game then? Is that enough? If you want to create a game that lasts longer, lasts for a year, for example, you should actually see if the person who is giving you 5 stars is actually playing the game or not. And that is what we did with the dance party. So we started tracking each and every activity in the game. So earlier also we used to track it, but we never used to use that data, right? Because it's like crazy amount of data. People start playing, you get millions of events, right? Lakhs and crores of events you get. And if there are like so much information in front of you, you just become confused. Okay, what does that mean? People are playing at least I know that. But of the 100% people will download your game, only 20% will play the game for a longer amount of time. 80% will just go away. And those 20% are the important users that everybody should target. Are those 20% happy? Have you heard about 80-20 principle? You have? If you haven't not heard about it, go and read that. A very, very important principle applies everywhere in life. So I know that 20% of the people are really liking the game. I mean, it is possible that 100% liked it, but 20% of them are actually playing the game. Like the very, very important users that I have. And how much are they playing, right? And these days there is a very popular, I wouldn't say popular, but a business model that is working these days is called as free to play, and that has changed the industry drastically. We as a company, I would say that it was a mistake that we had, was we were not looking ahead, right? The advice that I'm giving you, I didn't follow it earlier because nobody told me to. But now, we are late to the party, a little bit late to the party. You must have seen there are a lot of free games out there, right? Clash of Clans, Candy Crush, all free to play. And free to play actually makes game development a very predictable business, right? You must have heard everywhere that gaming is a hit-based business. Even we thought it to be true for a very long amount of time. We have come to realize now that it is not necessarily true. It is actually possible for you to design the engagement in the game. If you have the data, if you know that my game, people are not playing after 7 days, you can actually design the game in such a way that he plays maybe for 14 days, maybe for a month, right? If you are able to get the engagement right, that is all you need to become successful. So engagement, the single most important, because if there is engagement, People is going to play for a longer amount of time. The longer the user plays, increases the chances that that user will eventually spend in the game, right? So there are a lot of metrics that are out there. So whenever you are creating the game, uh, analytics is very important that you should keep in mind from day one. I know student projects, why would I care? But no. Because if you take this project as a real life project and if you know that these are the things that makes a game successful in the market, for example, you should apply those processes as well. There are a lot of free tools that are available out there. And whenever you're doing analytics, don't start tracking each and every single thing. For example, if you have a lot of levels in the game, you can say how many people are actually crossing that level if I give them to play. You have some information, right? I created 10 levels, how many of them completed 5? How many of them completed 10? If, for example, 10% of the users completed 10 levels, that's not good. If you are thinking of creating maybe 100 levels or so. So what will you do? You will make sure that I get those 10 levels right. You will come back to the game, you will update it, you'll update the levels and give the game to a new set of users and you'll see whether the number increased or not. What is happening in this process? You are actually making a better game, right? Or the traditional approach, you can also apply that. You can say, hey, I know that this game is fun. I am having a lot of fun playing this. So naturally everybody else will have a lot of fun. And you launch it, 10% will play and you will say, hey, the game is not successful. I made everything possible to make sure that the game is successful and it didn't turn out. Maybe I was not lucky enough. And then you will move on to the next project and you will make the same mistakes there and you will say, hey, it didn't work it this time either. And it will keep on happening. So track. Data. Data is very important. I mean, I know that this might not make sense to some of you, but trust me, based on my experience, that is the single most thing that you need. Not the single most. One of the most important things, among a lot of important things, to make sure that you create a great game. I'm sure you will give the game to a lot of people to play test, right? You will create a game, hey, why don't you try it? And that person will say on your face, hey, this is awesome. Fun game, super fun. He's your friend, right? He wouldn't want to hurt you, for example. But will that person really play that game? That is a question that you want an answer to, right? So you might want to give that person a game and not stand on his head while he plays it, right? Just make a disappearing act or something, like go away somewhere and you have data, go and study your data while he's playing the game. Just see what he's doing with your game and then come and ask him. And he says, hey, this is the fun game, and then you ask him, hey, you didn't even complete level 10, how can you say it's a fun game? Right? Different things. People lie. I mean, lie for good. They don't want to hurt you. Right? But data never lies. Right? What people are doing naturally, it is not a lie. What else? Yes, I'm sure you have written everything. Right? I think that's about it on my side. I'm sure, and I hope, I'm not sure, because I can't track the data. I don't know like how many, the advice that I gave you, if that will be really useful to you guys or not. It is entirely up to you whether to take it or not. I would say that if there was somebody during my time who would have advised me something like this, I would have been really grateful. Because I wouldn't say wasted a lot of time, but I took more time to do things that might have been a little obvious. Right? Any questions that you have for me? I think I have covered almost everything. Uh, yeah, so traditionally I have been a programmer. Till Flick Tennis, I was the only programmer in the company. So I single-handedly wrote the code for badminton, tennis, and squash. But I don't program now. My day-to-day work is to study data. That is what I do most of the time. And if you'll see Dead Among Us, it's like an entirely different beast as compared to all the games.